All right, good evening. Welcome to the March 9th, 2023 Library Trustees meeting. We're going to start off with correspondence. No correspondence. We're going to move to minutes of prior meetings. We have 3 to approve tonight. We can take these as a group or we can take them individually. So let's start. The minutes are the executive session, December 8th, 2022, the trustee retreat on January 8th, 2023, and the trustee meeting minutes from February 9th, 2023. Did anyone have any comments or edits? No. Okay. Hearing none, we can have a motion.
I move we accept the minutes from the executive session December 8th, trustee retreat January 8th, and the
That was motion.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And those are approved. Great. Public participation. Do not currently have anyone. All right, treasurer's report.
Okay, I sent these earlier, so people have them for their notes. Trustee gift account has $410.85. The building fund has $81,465.72. The LC account has $11,221.81. And the month ending value for CORP is $1,475,993.74.
Any questions about the treasurer's report? All right. Moving on to the friends report.
I was not at the last meeting. I imagine that mini golf was the main topic of conversation.
I may have also been CC'd on those, but I don't recall. So let me just check.
The cookie sale made $305 at the local library venue. And then everything else looks to be about mini golf. There will be a newsletter.
Is there a date?
March 31st and April 1st. We'll cover this later in our agenda as well. I have some details.
Yes, other than mini golf, that's all it is.
Great. I am sure it was a heavy lift on mini golf.
Yeah.
Sam, were you present?
Yeah, that was mostly mini.
Okay. Cool. So let's go into, thank you for sharing those notes. Building updates.
Solar panels, the solar panels were installed, including the inverter. Right now, we're just waiting on getting the commissioning agent out here to take a look. Brian has been trying to get him out here, scheduling, and then the snow and has kind of slowed things down. But
Yeah, I think the electrician has to be here at the same time too.
Right.
So it's taking multiple groups and trying to get them at the same time.
so we're working on it. But no solid date set yet for the commissioning agent again.
Let's keep on that.
Yeah.
Please. All right. You had a new thing come up with the buildings.
Oh, yes,
You think we should touch on?
The gate also broke again. So the mechanism that moves the gate across the floor, the gate somehow came off that. So we have to get somebody out here from the vendor to come and fix it. So I spoke to him today. He said he will send somebody hopefully this week, but he wasn't sure when. I don't know. I don't think it's under warranty, so probably, but I don't know. He hasn't come out yet.
Okay, so as we're talking to him and the vendor and considering this whole warranty issue, it seems like this is, when I look back at our notes, we have like almost a monthly gate issue.
Mhm.
I didn't know if we had any or could look at the number of times you've had contact with them for the gate being broken, and we could put some information together on that so we have it
Sure.
on file as we're working with them. Are they the only vendor who can fix it?
I think so. I think they're the
Where are
vendor.
they out of? It's
They're
okay if you
somewhere in
don't know right now. I didn't
Massachusetts.
ask you this beforehand.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're,
but they are in the
they're
state.
local. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to have an idea of the data, like the data on the number of times we're calling them. And what the various issues have been, because I do think we might need to be a little strong on our response on this. And because it seems like we need a reliable solution and maybe need to work in the architect.
Yeah. I did take a look at the surveillance video to see if someone messed with it, but it didn't look like.
Okay.
There's another.
Thank you for checking.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's keep on the gate issue and see what we can come up with.
Sure.
And we'll know what's possible here. Any other questions about the gate or the solar panels? Okay. In our last meeting, you were also waiting for quotes on the front door fix, the more permanent front door fix. Did you end up following up on that?
Yeah. So the company that originally installed them wanted us to fill out some sort of credit check. And so we talked to Alicia. Alicia said the town doesn't fill out credit checks. And so we went back to them. So they're supposed to send something to us soon, but they haven't sent it.
All right. So you're following up on that?
Yep.
And the water bottle, the breaker was supposed to be checked out.
Yeah. So the water bottle filler has been working.
Right.
Which
is good.
Yeah. George is going to get somebody out here to take a look at the breaker. Yeah.
Okay, great. Glad you're still on it with George's help. Right. Any other building related updates?
I got
I would like no more. All right, let's move to the director's report.
All right. So we hired Megan Solona. I actually don't know how to pronounce her last name.
Solona?
Yeah, she was hired as a new YA librarian. We had 16 applicants. We invited 8 back for interviews and then 4 back for second interviews.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it was a long process, but we think Megan's the best person for the job. She comes from Concord Free Library, and she's going to start on March 28th.
What's Megan's last name?
Celona.
Elona.
Yep.
I attended training with Susan on March 24th. The town has come up with a new, they call it a PAF form, PAF. It's a payroll reporting form. So basically it's the way that I report to the town whenever staff get step increases or anything like that. It's actually the same form we used to use when Anne was here. And then when Michelle came over, she changed it and didn't go over very well. So she went back to the old form. So I attended a meeting with MVLC executive, and we talked about a new e-card system. So MVLC is working on creating an e-card system for all MVLC libraries. And so we're just sort of figuring out with the state how that's going to work. It's similar to the Boston Public Library. They have e-cards where you can go on, you can apply for an electronic library card, and you can use databases from the Boston Public Library. So it worked the same way. You could use databases or other online resources from any library in MVLC. And then if you want, you can come to the library and get an actual library card. The e-card doesn't work with, you can't take out physical materials. You can just take out electronic materials. Katrina Kimberly and I met with the new town finance director on March 1st. I met with Nancy, the IT director, on March 6th. The town is working on creating a new, changing over to a new vendor for our website. So we're going to be changing our website. So we're just talking about some ideas about how the new website should look.
So the departments get to have some input into that.
Yeah, especially the library, because we basically have our own sort of sub site.
Yeah.
So that's how it works now.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll have some input. Basically, we have to follow the general template that the town follows, but we can make some changes.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have more questions. about
Yeah, sure.
that. Just for all of the files, we have them there and everything like that, are those gonna?
Everything's going to be transferred. So that's what
And do you have to do that or will they take care of it?
they'll take care of it. Yeah, that's something Nancy, we talked about. I had to go in there and basically take out all the old stuff. And she said to make sure you get anything new in there now, and then they'll just carry it over.
And then you can add from there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And she said we'll actually have way more ability to change things than I have now. So
That'd be.
Yeah.
Probably helpful.
yeah. We held a morning staff meeting on March 7th with Jane Stimson from the Mass Library System. She gave a presentation on generative AI systems like ChatGPT. And it was both very interesting and scary about what that kind of stuff can do. But the staff really enjoyed it. We also had a lunch, potluck, and then we had a general staff meeting where we discussed things like the Library of Things, future professional development opportunities, library mini golf, that sort of thing. And Mike and I rescheduled, even though it wasn't in Browse, the RHL management team coffee hour to the 18th because we had our snow day last Saturday when we were supposed to do it.
Reprieve, but not.
Yes,
A dismissal.
that isn't why I want a snow day at all. Upcoming programs are on here. We have the regular children's programs, some adult programs that are coming up. Our college financial planning with Jack Wang, that's on the 16th. He's come here before. He talks to people about how you can fill out the FAFSA and apply for scholarships and grants and that sort of thing. We have Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture and Copeland's Lincoln Portrait Music History Program with Alka Hans, and Library Mini Golf on March 31st. And then the rest is just stats. Any questions?
All right. I want to know how this chat,
GPT works.
the AI systems are going to, how they're going to impact libraries.
Oh, well, people have written children's books with it that they've sold on Amazon. Yeah, because you can not only write stuff with it, you can also.
We might have a visitor. Hello.
Hi.
You here for the library trustee meeting? That's okay. You're welcome to stay.
Yeah, so kids are writing their essays, book reports with ChatGPT, and it's hard to know if they're plagiarizing or not.
You're probably running into it.
I suspect I am.
But something that Jane told us is that ChatGPT and other programs like it, they can do what they call hallucinate. So they can produce false citations, produce wrong answers.
It's only as good as information.
Right. It only has
That it
information.
finds.
Yeah, it only has information up to 2021. So it doesn't actually go on the internet to look. It has just information that they've gathered since up to 2021. So like if you asked it who's the monarch in charge of England right now, it would say Queen Elizabeth. Because it doesn't know that.
Someone actually is feeding it information to store where there may be biases included into that too.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a journalist who decided to have a chat with it, and it told him that it loved him
I saw that.
and that he should leave his wife. Yeah. So there's some little hiccups with it, but
Little.
yeah. But yeah, so mostly we talked about how patrons might use it, especially kids.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah. And use it for reference.
This is a stupid question. Is it like, I mean, you have to go, it's like a site, like what, how are you getting that? Like, how are you going to that and asking it a question? Like, what's the?
Yeah, it's sort of like Google.
Yeah.
You would just
So-
go and do a search, and then it would basically give you an answer, but it's not like a
Like
link.
Alexa or something. Or
Right.
Like
It talks to you. It's like a chat.
okay.
And then if it gives you an answer, you can say, you can give it more information to sort of narrow it down. In the example she gave us, she actually had it describe something to us like Elmo would. And so it talked to us like it was Elmo. Like,
Um,
yeah, it's,
um,
and then there are other software that can imitate voices and images and
I've
video.
heard about the art piece of this,
Yeah.
like the.
Yep.
Blurring of the lines. What is art?
So,
It's funny because we asked them to make a haiku about libraries.
yeah,
That'd be a really.
it was actually really good
I've seen some
haiku.
good stuff out of it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good haiku.
stuff, actually.
But I guess you still have to be a critical user of it.
Right,
And
which
check it
makes me
out.
think, I know, like, for example, you talk about like sources and stuff, so when I've been thinking, when I have in the past written books for publication, there's certain sources that I can't use, like Wikipedia is not a source.
Mhm.
So, because it's crowdsourced, it's, people can go and change it,
Right.
so just makes me like, I don't want to have to wonder, what's this, like, if I go to the Smithsonian, I'm assuming that the information that's on Smithsonian magazine is
Mhm.
correct, because it's a highly rated, it's a good source, but this is not a good source for information, because it's pulling that information from not good sources.
Mm.
Well, maybe
In my
find
head, I was
sources,
just
but you just don't
depends.
know, right? It depends.
Yeah,
You just
you
don't
would
know.
know.
Right.
Yeah, actually, show us another thing, it wasn't ChatGPT. It's the same sort of thing, but it's what Microsoft Bing, it's like integrated essentially ChatGPT into it. It has access to the internet. And then you use it, it actually like cites its sources as it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you can actually fact.
You can actually
You
follow.
can
yes.
check, you can check your sources.
Well, Wikipedia does often have sources that you can go and look at the original source, so sometimes I would do that, and you could kind of.
It's fascinating. It's definitely a new world, right?
Yeah, it's like when Google first came out, I'm sure they had similar, and Diane said she went to a workshop about Facebook when Facebook first came out. So I'm sure it's gonna.
And it's changed since then too. So
Yeah.
like she could go to another one and get a whole different
Right.
perspective.
Just like fake voices that call me during the day and want to sell them, like, is this real? Are you real? And they say, it's nice to talk to you.
All right. Well, thank you for the insight into that. I'm wondering how much training or where libraries can be an informative source and like how to use those properly in the future. So Minute Madness is going on.
Oh yes, we made it to the next round. We're going against Carlisle, so start reading and recording. We can beat them.
How big is Carla?
It's our size.
It's our size, right?
It's weighted though.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The
And how do
brackets.
you?
It looked padded. Yeah, like all,
Yeah.
where is it?
Then I
You just have to submit your form.
I have not been logging my community.
Oh, well, could you please add those now?
We're just adding.
One question that did come up on the Facebook page today, and perhaps it's been answered, is if somebody forgot to log, say tonight, but remember tomorrow, can they
Yeah,
combine tomorrow's
I answered that
You
question.
answered it, right.
Yeah, so you have to,
within the week that we're doing?
yeah, you just have to do it by 11 o'clock on Wednesday.
Okay.
So each week.
You don't have to do it every day.
I mean, it's helpful if you do, but you don't have to.
I've been logging, my kids wanted to do it too, and so you'll find the like, do you want to put your age in? I'm like putting theirs in, and then you'll know which one's mine. Or at least Mike and Sam will.
Yeah, because people have been giving me paper forms from the week until I put in like 500 minutes, and it's like,
At once.
Yeah, at once. That's
Okay. So it went out on the library's Facebook page to announce it again. We'll cross post it again. Celebrate week one success.
So it was against everyone the first week, right?
right. I forget how many library.
18 started, that was 16.
Yeah.
It was like it was that first round
I
of
think it was
the,
more than 8.
Go to get to 16. because that's
Well, it
what-
wasn't like a bracket.
No, it
there was
wasn't
always
correct.
like one extra that you had to play together.
I think it was like in the 20s.
There were that's a good list. It's like a good list of libraries. It's fun. All right. Any other of those before you move on to your next item? Actually, the next thing on our agenda is,
Library minute.
did I skip it over?
No,
The old business. Or am I missing things?
No, library minute.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Thank you for your director's report.
Okay.
Under old business, we're starting with library mini golf. So as Mira, touched on, Friends has been busy. I'm helping Friends as well. With gathering sponsors and donors for the silent auction, donations for the silent auction, and starting the marketing, outreach for ticket sales and things like that. So what's set up is the Friday, the 31st is going to be an adult only age 21 plus ticketed event. It's $25 per ticket. And the reason that it is 21 plus is because we are trying to bring in Dirigible Brewing Company, who has submitted their one-day liquor license to the town this week. So we included in your packet the their one-day liquor license application to the town, as well as the Friends had to submit a memo describing the event for the select board meeting next week. Have you guys looked at those yet? So library mini golf is going to be the ticketed event Friday night, and then a family day, all ages, $5 around the next day. But so the dirigible is just for that one night event. Their license will be from 5:30 to 9:30 to account for setup and breakdown. But they will be serving during the event, which is 6 to 9. Sam reached out to LPD, and we will need a police detail. They estimated the cost for us. The cost has been absorbed into the fundraising sponsorships for mini golf and is currently covered for both. The Friends also took out additional insurance, certificate of liability policy for the 2-day event, as well as town requires. So both of those things are covered under the sponsors that they've currently gotten on board, as well as everything else that they need to spend on. So the base cost for mini golf is covered by the sponsorship so far, which is great. So what we need to do tonight, so because we are the custodians of the library, we need to vote to approve moving forward with Dirigible's Brewing Company's one-day liquor license application as they submitted it to the town. And then once this meeting is over and we have a decision on that, then I will send that result to the town administrator's office so that they have it, as this will appear on the select board's. It's actually on the select board's agenda for Monday at 7:10, I think.
So do we need a motion?
We need a motion.
Any questions before we do the motion? Move to approve the one-day application for the liquor license from Dirigible.
Brewing Company.
Dirigible.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. It's unanimous. Great, thank you guys. So next step is for the Dirigible's application and the memo from the Friends describing the event is in the select board's packet, and they will review it. Dirigible will go to the select board meeting on Monday, as will members of the Friends. 1 or 2 of them will be planning to go. And I was planning, Sam, I'm assuming you're attending. I was planning to attend, and now I didn't realize my husband was traveling, so might need a backup on me if I can't go from the trustees, just to be there to answer questions, but we can coordinate that later. My intention is to be there. So that will appear there for a quick. Dirigibles had prior one-day liquor licenses, which have been approved by the select board. They served at Oktoberfest, for example. So I don't think there's any concern that they do differently, but we'll all be there to speak to the event should there be questions.
Our tickets are on sale now, and then they're on sale.
Yes, tickets opened this week. So you can go to the Auctria, TRIA.events/RHL mini golf to purchase tickets.
Is there a link on the website?
There's a link on the website. I believe so, Sam, right? It's on the Friends website.
It's on the Friends website. I have to put on the.
And we have to we're working to get the word out into various so Friends has been posting on Facebook. That's the other place to get it. It's in every post that we that have been done for spotlighting the sponsors and things right now.
Somewhere I
And-
found the link to that ticket
I saw your name on the list,
Yeah,
Mira.
I don't remember where I saw it.
Yeah, probably Facebook, I guess, because I think that's where we started. Yeah, so it should be, we're trying to get it everywhere. So, I know that the flyer was sent to the, schools for inclusion in the principal's letter this week. They're working, Kathy's been working on a press release to be submitted to the newspapers. Hoping that once that's together, maybe we could work with the town to put it in the town's wide email that the TA's office uses.
Sure. Nice.
Anthony said that he would support things like that. So, and has before. You guys have the March Madness in there. So, or Minute Madness. So things like that. We'll just, once the select board meets on Monday, we'll have more clear what these things should be. And then I do think we'll need some volunteers if anyone wants some, is around and wants to help, that'd be great. And at least be present so that we can be here to answer questions or just interact with patrons.
So if we attend, should we wear a name tag so people?
That is my intention.
I found my name tag.
Yay! Mine definitely was buried in the back of my box. It took me a minute.
I've actually been thinking about getting new ones with pronouns.
The staff one.
Hmm?
Does the staff want them that one?
I don't know. I was going to ask. I haven't asked because I have to get Megan one. So I thought maybe I'd just start over and get everybody.
You've had enough lately, right?
Yeah.
Right. We can have both available to us. An interesting, it's actually a really interesting thing to think about. All right. So yeah, next steps are the continuing to get the word out, advertise about it. So if you guys know friends or anyone who's interested in going, definitely talk it up if you are so inclined. We're finalizing our sponsors now and the food now, and still running around collecting auction items that have been donated. So we're getting to that, and the next 3 weeks will be busy, but we can see where it's going now, which is nice. And friends, there's been a lot of friends who have been working on it, so it's great.
And the family day, well, just pay when you get here.
Yeah, so we're keeping that one simple. I think you'll pay when you get here. We still have to figure out whether we can like use Venmo or something. I know Sarah was looking into how to pay, not just cash necessarily, because someone will always come without cash, but and the Little Town coffee truck will be outside. So actually it's another question for the police. When you go back for the police detail. Where to where it would not impede any emergency vehicles should we need them. My guess is where the EV chargers are would be a good spot. All right. Any questions about mini golf? Okay. We're moving to new business. I'm going to move to Sam to do his update on the strategic plan.
Yeah, so I went back and looked at the FY 22-27 strategic plan to see how we're doing with it.
Mhm.
And it looks like we're about halfway through. There are 58 total action points, and we've completed about 25 of them. 8 of them are ongoing and 25 are incomplete. So it's about halfway.
Are we about halfway through?
Yeah, about halfway through.
22 to 27, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the areas that I noticed need the most help are, there's one area where we talked about doing more of the local history room, getting more collaboration with the Littleton Historical Society, doing collaborations, doing children's programming about the local history room. So we'll work on doing that. Also staff professional development and technical competencies have to be looked at and reviewed, and just offering. I think that stopped because of COVID. There weren't any.
Yeah, there weren't any training.
Yeah, there weren't any training. So increasing trainings and more open house events, especially in the children's area, the teens area, just in general, doing events with other departments, maybe having the police come here and talk about what they do, or having DPW come here.
You're right.
So those were some goals that we had that haven't really been achieved yet.
But speaking of that, like even thing, I don't know if there's a person in town who could just do like a intro to town meeting kind of meetings, things
Okay.
like that. Cause there are definitely every town meeting, I don't understand there's a lot, like, I don't understand how the decisions get made before it, but also like the procedures when you're there. I just saw it at another library in New Hampshire. That's what made me come up. So I don't know if we have a local presenter who might be willing to do something like that.
That'd be the town moderator who could do that, or
He might be a good person to ask first.
Also how to get a warrant, because we know that was, first, you know.
I think we
someone's
could
not
come up with
gonna
a long
just
line
get
of
a citizen
questions.
petition and then get on the town. Very upset that it's not the process.
And I think acknowledging the process actually starts way before town meeting
Right.
gets on the warrant. So, but providing opportunities to educate town about town meeting or at least just the structure of our local government may be useful, especially with so many new residents,
That's good, yeah.
just as a topic that we could explore.
Yeah, so like I said, there were 58. I'm not going to go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so any questions?
Enjoy reading through it.
Oh,
I
thanks.
like the structure.
Thanks.
I really appreciate the structure and the time that you went to do
Yeah.
each one separately. I think that's really helpful to my brain.
Yes.
Yeah, there was a day where I had to go to the YA room, and so that's what I did all day.
Clearly, they were being
I like the detail too, like what, you know, what you were thinking or what was art, what components were completed. I like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was only one where we talked about microfiche, where we don't use microfiche anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that one can be cut. But the rest, yeah, like digitizing the Wilton Independent, I think that's something I had explored before, but it's kind of costly. So I would have to, that was a few years ago. So it's probably even more now. So I can definitely explore that again.
And you're definitely, like, when we're talking about the history room specifically, I mean, Andy was a big part of that,
Right.
and she's no longer on staff. So
But she still helps.
I know she still helps. It would be great if,
Yeah.
and I know she was really involved in the historical society. So
Yeah,
there's a
and
way to,
Jeff has really taken an interest in it as well.
Yes, okay, good.
He
that was my
worked with
wondering
Andy.
is if there was someone who could step into that.
Yeah, Jeff really enjoys that kind of stuff.
All right. So you do still have an interest in the staff to move that forward.
Yeah, and then there is one other part that was in here. So before we moved into the new library, the Wilton Historical Society, or the building, they I guess they have some stuff there that they wanted to store here. And at the time we were building the new library, and we said, oh, we don't really have storage for it. And then the pandemic hit and it kind of went nowhere. We still don't have a place to store it. And they haven't talked to me about it. Do you guys want me to reach out to them or just gonna leave it? I don't even, I think they have stuff there that they felt should be in the library. And
It's just storage.
I think it was just storage.
We need storage, maybe town hall, because
Yeah.
there's big changes coming in. And I don't know.
There's the dungeon still being used by the other departments.
I know they turned the Cooper room into a gym.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what Anthony, I had my meeting with Anthony today.
Does that mean our staff can use it?
Yeah, you have to sign a waiver, but you can use it.
There's only town halls.
And it's for only
He's gonna
staff,
put a fob on it,
but
yeah.
staff only staff, or is it? It's not open to everyone.
I don't think so.
That's nice. It's good.
It's a nice perk. I just want to make sure that our staff know about it and can access it.
Yeah, they sent out a mass email.
That's great.
Yep.
All right, so any questions about the strategic plan and the direction we're going, or should Sam and Mike continue forward on it? I would love, a yearly update on it, where we are. And if you run into any stumbling blocks where you need support, please let us know.
Sure.
Okay. So moving from strategic plan, on to the library. Next item is library director contract and performance review. So tonight, what I want to talk about is the process, not the content of what Sam sent us. So Sam, in my time on the board, has always kind of done the first pass, like taken each of his goals in the prior years and graded himself and provided feedback in the document. And then trustees go from there. So I asked Sam to do that first step before this meeting, which is what he provided to us. Last year, we had every trustee review that and also grade and provide feedback in each of those sections. And we adjusted scores where we thought they should be, where Sam's grading, we give the final grade. So that's what we ended up doing. Most of the time we agreed. So it wasn't a big deal. And we provided Sam feedback. So you had clear understanding of where we're coming from.
Mhm.
I personally thought that process went well.
Yeah.
And I think it's helpful to see everyone, and every one of us interacts with Sam differently. So I would really love to hear everyone's individual input again, like we did last year. So if we could repeat that in the next two weeks, that would be good. What's the date on that? 2 weeks? Probably mini golf.
Probably.
The 20th.
23rd. Okay, so if everyone could filter their feedback by the 23rd.
And this is on the 2023 trustee review that you sent out. Yep.
Thank you. Yes, so take that document, add your own comments to it. And then filter each one of you can filter to me. We can take that and we'll aggregate them together. And then here's the next decision point actually is last year. In my prior years on the board, we had an open meeting, reviewed all of these in open meeting with Sam. And then last year we decided it's not required that we review it in open meeting. And we wanted to, Wendy and myself sat down with Sam and did a chair plus trustee plus Sam review. I found that discussion really helpful. Actually, there was I felt almost more productive that way, to be honest. And my recommendation would be that we do a chair, second trustee, and Sam review again, which we then report back at the next trustee meeting. Does anyone else have thoughts on that?
It feels like that worked well. So.
Yeah, Sam, as long as you work with that, I like that. I think it's a little bit rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's less pressure to be on camera while I get my review.
Right.
And also it's more,
Right.
yeah. I also feel like more is said by the trustees. It's the other side of this too.
You get more feedback
Yeah, I get more
and
feedback,
constructively, I hope.
Yeah.
Where we would like you to.
Yeah.
Where we think you're doing really well, you've always heard, but I think we even tell you more of
Yeah.
what you're doing well when you're
Yeah.
2-on-1 versus on public meeting. And then also where we'd like to see improvements in the future. So if this process worked for you,
Yeah.
I would like to continue that again. So would anyone like to sit with me in this next meeting?
Sure. But if that's something else possible.
We can have as many as 3 of us in the room and it not be a quorum. So if somebody else would like to, that's fine as well. I would love your participation. So that'd be great. Okay. So Kimberly, you and I will set a meeting with Sam once we get it all aggregated together, and then we'll report back at the next trustee meeting. Yes, it was in the packet, but we can.
It was like secondary. It was like, that was later.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
Yeah.
We will resend it. I will resend it.
If it's what Sam sent.
It is what he did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I have it.
I will send a follow-up on this because I think I'll document it so that you guys know it, the date and everything. Great. I mean, I liked this kind of conversation, it felt more productive, so that'd be great. And it's also similar to what other boards do. Like, I know this is exactly what they do in the school committee and the select board. They have a personal meeting with a few of them, and then they report back on the process in the public meeting. So I think that's consistent as well. Okay, so any other comments, questions about the library director contract and performance review? I guess technically I only just touched on the performance review. Thank you all who submitted and just acknowledged, reading the contract and submitting questions about that. I've gotten a couple to follow up on, and I need to meet with Anthony, so I have to make a meeting with him to just make sure we're aligned with the rest of the town and the contract part, so. I will make that appointment this week. But that is moving forward, and we have until June 30th to complete that process. Okay. Other business. Don't believe we had any other business listed. Anyone have any other business? I have other business. So I was going through multiple months of notes, and I know that multiple times in our meeting minutes, we've talked about wanting to meet with other trustees, area trustees, just informally to connect, to start learning how what are the issues other libraries are facing, what other, how other trustee boards are structured and how they oversight with their director and the library, things like that. And I'm wondering if we actually want to take action on this. Like, do we want to set a date and send an invitation? Or if anyone else has other ideas we want to be honest, I'm not going to tackle this until after mini golf. If I'm the one initiating it, but if someone else wants to do it.
You could set a date for it.
May have also Zoom, but end of year stuff.
I have a lot of April. This doesn't matter. It's not all about me, but it's not. April's,
I mean,
a lot of April Saturdays are.
we can just think of it like, I don't know, like, do we just want to put feelers out to the other trustees and be like, would you even be interested in something like this before we solidify a date? And is there a month that's better? I mean, it could be, for all I care, June or July, or
Right.
just before, late August or September even, like.
So how do we get in touch with the groups besides going on the website for the email addresses? Like, yeah.
I can reach out to the directors listserv and ask them to.
Especially from local, maybe local or something like that, but like, well, you were like within MBLC, right? As opposed to within MBLC.
Other way
The
around.
way around?
It's
Yeah, MVLC instead of MVLC. Yes.
It feels like working within our consortium would be the first step, right?
Right, I didn't know if the director's report is like, the director's things, everybody, or if that's just within our own.
No, it's just MVLC.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great, because it'd be just nice to know who else would be interested in it. That's
Yeah.
like the first.
So yeah, if you send a just query, if you will, of who might be interested in informal meet and greet. Otherwise, I mean,
And then it's not yours to play. It's just kind of, you're the one who knows how to get in touch with them, but then we would take that on, but it's just.
Yeah. Absolutely. You might be our conduit for messaging until we have a list that we can use. And it would be useful to say what month would be easier to navigate, because I know it gets a little crunched for those of us with school kids. Okay, thank you for my other business. So I just didn't want it to sit there, so I'm glad we're moving forward on it. Okay, so are we on to trustee updates? You think I'd have the agenda in front of me? Okay, trustee updates. When we go around,
I have done years and gathering signatures for my nomination papers. That's in all of my spare time. Feels like it's been-
Oh, it's done.
I'm almost done. Amongst other various things,
are you gonna make the deadline?
for sure. My goal is Monday.
Thanks for the winter reading programs. One of my daughters was excited to win one of the prizes for the young adult one, so she filled out her bingo card. That. The other one was too lazy to fill in the tickets.
That happens.
I am excited about the new challenge, and I am listening to my audiobook every day. And like as much as
Good. It has been fun to do the madness one.
Reading a lot and not adding my minutes, because I can't keep track of them, because I just read on and off all day long. I'm sorry.
Be better.
I could read less and then just keep track of those and then other stuff. Yeah, so that, and also my son's just been really loving the game night.
It's awesome.
Yes, and he every week he gets in touch with a few friends, like, come down to it. So he's very enthused.
These are great kids too. I like it. Most of my time has been working in mini golf. So, other than the things Sam mentioned with the finance director and whatnot, the one thing I have done in addition to that is, Kimberly did the first one, the legal issues for libraries. You did the meeting room one.
I wanted to go to the second one.
I attended the collections, the legal issues for libraries collections webinar, and it was equally as fascinating.
I was hoping she would send the recording.
It has arrived. I can resend it.
Okay. We didn't come to register.
That's interesting. So basically both of these together, they had, a legal scholar in this area present all of the Supreme Court rulings on meeting room uses in libraries and then also collections. So when you take them together, you kind of get a clearer sense of where your policies need to be. They are dense. They are definitely,
They maybe not want to law school, but
it was fascinating. Like I actually found it very fascinating.
it's all talk.
They're lengthy, but I do think if you have time, they're well worth a listen to, because they directly reflect on things that we have had to write policies about and had issues to deal with. So I will link to those two recordings. I think they're available until the end of April. So if you find yourself having a time to clean and listen to everything, it's interesting and applicable if you so choose to enjoy them. I'm glad I attended them. I feel like most of my trainings this last 6 months have been these legal kind of issues.
It's just nice to know. Yeah, it's helpful. Like the reason why they're doing these particular topics is because they have questions. It's nice to.
Yeah, it's a hot.
Yeah.
Everyone's here. Yeah, given the current climate. So I will link them and send them out. So if you guys have time, I think they're worth a listen so that we are well versed in this area should we need them. That said, I'd say our collections policy really aligned with, our recently revised collection policy really aligned with what I heard in the collections webinar. So it was reassuring actually. So, Mike, do you have anything you would like to add? We haven't asked you. Okay. You're here and present. Okay, great. All right. I think we're at the end of our meeting unless there are other things that come up. So our next meeting is for April 13th, second Thursday. I'll see you all at mini golf.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. All right.